office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime. And their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
Hi everybody, I'm Michael Morrison with Hub Radio Phoenix. If you're looking for secure news, the truth and nothing but the truth, you found it right here at Hub Radio Phoenix.
In a world where security matters more than ever, Lionheart Security Services stands head and shoulders above the competition. Whether it's airport security, high-rise residential and office security, event security, warehouse security, or even personal security. Call the best of the best. Lionheart Security Services. We provide armed and unarmed officers. Our armed officers are held to the strictest standards of 90% accuracy, 20% higher than Arizona standards. When it comes to securing you, your goods, and services. Call Lionheart Security Services, 480-485-2304, or find them on the web at lionheartsecurityservices.com.
Hi, I'm Marta Llamas and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe.
Welcome to Backstreet Gossip, current events, news talk, and political commentary. Now here's your host, Ron Lutter.
Well, welcome. It's Labor Day in the United States, and thank you for all of you that labor. And most of you are probably not laboring today, but Mr. Ray Michaels is here.
Hello, everyone.
And he and I are laboring.
We are laboring. You think on Labor Day that people would be laboring, but it's not. It should be it's like an anti-Labor Day.
Okay, and then we got Mr. DeSante over there, and he's laboring as well. So we want to. Oh, he's even sweating. So at any rate, we're down to a skeleton crew today. That means we've been losing weight. And so, a lot's been going on this week, as it has always been. And unfortunately, not a lot of it is good news. We have the issues over in the Afghanistan. We have many cities within the United States now that are taking in people that are certainly have nothing in common with Arizonans or Americans, and that's going to create some problems and has already done so. And we'd like to thank our military for the great job that they were doing, trying to get people out of there, that god-awful place. And once again, our sincere condolences and grief to those 13 military personnel that had lost their lives.
Yeah, just tragic.
And things like this should never have happened, and it's due to lack of leadership on the part of the leader of our country, the Pino, president in name only, and we're pretty upset over that. And but we're here today, and we're going to give you some we hope some really good news. A lot of good things are happening as well, and I want you all to pay a little bit of attention here. I want you to share this show with all your friends. I'd like you to also pass it around. And we'd like you to click the follow and the subscribe button, because we're going to be here and we're not going away unless Facebook and YouTube cut us off, and then we'll find other venues. We've been on a number of them. Wimkin, we're on Rumble, and we just got on, what was the new one? Twitter, Twitch, and kind of sounds like got a scratch or something.
Yeah, you need medication for it.
But, a lot of things have been going on in this country, and many of us believe that the Pino of the United States is a pretender and has no business having been there in the first place. And today we have a guest of ours, and this young woman is a real warrior. I mean,
yes, but before you introduce her,
I'm gonna talk about that.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, good.
And you can bring this on, because this person is going around the country right now, and spreading a lot of good news that people need to pay attention to. The integrity of our elections is the most sincere, God-given right that we have to make the selection of people that run our country. And we have a real warrior here that's been going around the country. She's been a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force, Arizona State Senator, and she has, why don't you talk about her little tweet that she put out today?
Yeah, everybody's been asking, okay, where's the audit? You promised us end of August. Where is it? There was supposed to be a preliminary report given to Senate President Karen Fann, but then some of the key people came down with COVID, and then it's 2 weeks later. And so everybody's just kind of questioning it. Ron, from the beginning, we even had Secretary Bennett on here before anything ever started. So we've been on the cutting edge here at Hub Radio of everything audit. And so there was a tweet early this morning, and I heard it come in, and I watched it. And Neil, can we just bring that up real quick? So this is Wendy Rogers from Arizona here. She represents our state. And she said, the audit is coming, guys. I promise you. I get a lot of comments asking, and people think I can speed it up, but I can't speed it up. It is a process, and it is coming. Also, other information is coming out that I can't disclose. Just know that it is all going to happen, and this is real. Keep the faith. Make sure your state is doing an audit, because when our audit comes out, the next steps are to get this done in other states. Start pushing that now. And Wendy, we thank you so much for that tweet, even though it woke me up first thing this morning. Wendy Rogers, are you there?
It is I. I am here, and I'm in St. Louis. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you. Wendy, thank you for all you're doing. She's been going around the country, ladies and gentlemen, telling especially the states that have been in question of the results of this past election, and telling people you need to have confidence in the election. And Ray, I don't have confidence in this past election.
No, but I'll tell you, Wendy, you have become the go-to person with regard to this audit. And I think that's fantastic that you have stepped up to the plate, because I know what an incredible task this is to go from state to state and to show what we did here and how to do a correct audit where they are. So thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about, I know that you've been on the show many, many times, and you told us that you had an opportunity to observe the audit here and how impressed you were, but now you are on the cutting edge of showing everybody else how an audit needs to be done.
Well, thank you for persisting to get me on the show. I've done a lot of interviews, as you might expect. We left, my husband and I, to go to the 3-day cyber symposium, which was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I think the 10th through the 13th of August. So we left Arizona, drove our trusty car, which now has 381,000 miles on it. We have a lot of quarts of oil in the back. Every 800 miles, we got to add a quart. No kidding. Toyota Avalon. Anyway, so we went to Denver to see our daughter and husband and 2 little grandsons, and then we went on to Sioux Falls. And it was a great experience because I got to collaborate with so many other state representatives and state senators from other state legislatures from around the country, and I didn't really know that that would be the big takeaway, but it was fabulous and very meaningful. And we started what we call an election integrity caucus. So now I am in touch with a lot of these other counterparts of mine in other state legislatures across the country, some of whom I had met because they had journeyed themselves to the Arizona audit and I had hosted them. So it was a little bit of a family reunion, as it were, and it was a great experience. And then after that, we thought, well, you know, some people who know me in Michigan, who support me, I have supporters from all over, asked me to come over to Michigan, and we left Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and drove to Michigan, where we had a huge rally to include movers and shakers in Michigan who want to do an audit. And that was a great day. We had over 100 people. We had Republican Secretary of State candidate Christina Caramo. We had Patrick Colbeck, former state senator, who I had met at Sioux Falls, and various other influencers, I should say, in Michigan, who are pressing their state legislature to audit. After that, Hal and I went on to Gettysburg, and we stayed a few days there and had a huge event with that I headlined with Doug Mastriano. Retired Army Colonel Doug Mastriano, State Senator Doug Mastriano, came out to the Arizona audit and has been a leading figure in Pennsylvania to get that done. So we had a very meaningful time with him. That rally he and I headlined had over 800 people in attendance. And guess what, everyone? They know who the Arizona Senate is. They know who I am. They know who Sonny Borelli is. And they are just absolutely fervently in favor of doing an audit in Pennsylvania. Then after that, we went to Philadelphia to see some of the men who were the security detail of the audit. People think, oh, well, the Maricopa County audit was manned by simply just Arizonans. Not true. There were experts paid and unpaid from all over the country. So we sort of reconvened with them in Philadelphia. I did a bunch of interviews along the way in front of Independence Hall. I actually also went downtown Philadelphia to see the Pennsylvania Convention Center, where the blinders were put up in the window, as you all may recall,
right,
such that we could not see in. And I did a video there if you follow my social media. And I interviewed a woman, lawyer, retired, who had been denied access as an election official to watch the counting the next day. So that was a real eye-opener. And then we were asked to drive up to Concord, New Hampshire, to the capital of New Hampshire, and headline a rally there, which was hundreds and hundreds of people. And in each case, I would speak about Arizona, about the nuts and bolts of what we did, and how this is an exportable, packageable entity that other states can also deploy. And then after that, we drove down to Virginia, to the capital, Richmond area, and had a huge event with State Senator Amanda Chase, who had journeyed to the Arizona audit and who I had also seen in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So she put on this huge event that she and I headlined, and then we were interviewed by the top conservative radio talk show host in that part of Virginia, and that had about 700 people in attendance. So again, the momentum and the steam is building. So after that, I went to North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina, to headline an event with Sandy Smith, who is a conservative running for U.S. Congress. She had about 500 people at that event. And again, this is all televised, promoted on media, and really a great gathering of momentum across the country. Then we went to Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, which is where my husband and I were first stationed when we were married. We went and did a little reminiscing and went to see the chapel where we had gotten married and where our first house was and all this, which was kind of fun. And we had this huge event with U.S. Senate candidate Josh Mandel, who is the only U.S. Senate candidate, the only candidate in Ohio calling for an audit. And all of you need to really bear in mind, even if a state went for Donald Trump, we're quite sure that he would have won by far more of a margin than what he did, because the corruption is so rampant. And so that was a huge rally, 400 or 500 people in a mega church north of Dayton. Jenna Ellis attended. I am strongly connected to her now. Oh, I left out. How did I do this? I did 3 rallies in Georgia. Wow. With Vernon Jones and General Flynn. And those were great because Vernon Jones himself had come out to the Arizona audit as well. Georgia, as we all well know, needs to do an audit. That's really, however, going to hinge on a court case that is September 20th regarding Fulton County, 140,000 ballots, 20 or 30,000 of which are considered to have been Xeroxed. So that one county, if found corrupt, could absolutely, change the total in Georgia. So anyway, I went around with Vernon Jones. We did 3 events in 2 days with him and General Flynn, and those were very successful. I was able to introduce him as someone who believed that absolutely Georgia, he's running for governor, by the way, that Georgia needs to do an audit. And then we went up to Dayton, Ohio. And after Dayton, we took a few days in between here on Labor Day weekend to go to Fort Knox, Kentucky, which happens to be where I was born, and we lived a few times as a family.
Is there actually any gold there?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That's the gold depository. And
I know, but is there any there?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I brought souvenir gold bricks home for the grandkids. But anyway, then we came here today, St. Louis. Tomorrow I will be spending all day with former Governor Eric Greitens, who's also running for U.S. Senate, who's the only one in Missouri calling for an audit, to my knowledge. He and I are doing a number of interviews tomorrow. Then tomorrow night we have an event. He's also a former Navy SEAL. As I said, he came to the audit. He saw that the procedures at our audit in Arizona were airtight and very, accurate and secure. And so he and I both sort of speak from a military background as to the fine precision way that the audit was carried out. And then after this stop where we are now in St. Louis, we will conclude our journey in Oklahoma, Tulsa, with U.S. Senate candidate Jackson Lahmeyer, who I have endorsed, who also had journeyed to the audit. You see a theme here. And he is a huge conservative force there in Oklahoma. We're doing a big event there Thursday. That will all be covered by Steve Bannon and other outlets as well. And so I have to just conclude by saying we will have been gone 5 weeks, and every day has been totally worth it. The momentum is building across the country. Everyone is looking to Arizona. They want the truth. They want the truth of 2020 before we can fix the mechanisms for 2022. You just don't even realize how people are relying on our state. And so I reassure them and I tell them, I know it has taken longer than we thought. There has been illness with COVID. There was the late rendering of the envelopes from the subpoena from Maricopa County. That slowed things down. But it's all to say that it is so important that we get this right. It is so important that we are accurate and legal, and that we have done away with any room for misinterpretation. And President Fan keeps us posted. We had a closed caucus Zoom call, and all 16 of us Republican senators were on it. This was, I think, 2 days ago. And she walked us through where we were, and I have every confidence that this is being done right, this is being done fully, and I don't mean to be snarky when I say we're doing it faster than 49 other states. So, I mean, it is an inexorable task. It is a heavy lift. It's 2.1 million ballots, and we have I've talked to CEO of Cyber Ninjas, Doug Logan. I was actually walking down the street of where I was a little kid at Fort Knox. I was talking to him, and he reassured me that everything is being done right. He was coughing a lot. He's been very, very sick. COVID has really taken these people down. One of the 5 people has still had a tough time recovering. So all of this is to let you know that we're doing the right thing. It's taking time. The truth will come out. And no matter what happens, this horrible tragedy in Afghanistan, the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates, all of this is a distraction. Okay? This is to avert your eyes away from the inevitability of the truth that will come out. And there will be deniers, and there will be minimizers, and there will be people who don't believe, but it will be the truth. And I am proud of that. I am proud to be a state senator. And
well, we're very
people
very
recognize
proud.
us.
We're
Yeah.
very, very proud of you. I've known you for a long, long time. A little coffee shop at Costco. Started it off
Yeah.
about 11 years ago.
That's
and,
right.
And I knew you were a warrior then because of your service in the Air Force, and thank you for that.
And thank you.
We are so terribly proud of you, and we are proud that Arizona leads the nation. I mean, this is just so phenomenal because we all know what had to be done here, Ray.
I'm hoping, and again, Senator Rogers, thank you so much, because you were not involved from the very beginning other than being a senator, but you viewed it and you saw the importance of this audit, and you really took the ball and you ran with it. And there's some key people there. Wendy Kelly Borelli. We had Kelly Townsend on too. I thought that was so great.
By the
Yes,
way,
I was talking to her today on text. She's a warrior too. I love her.
And
we
that's
saw.
just tell everybody who started that. Wendy Kelly Borelli.
Well, that was President Trump.
President
when
Trump
he was here.
recognized the efforts of
and
these
he
people.
said this should be something. Wendy Kelly Borelli, and
Yes.
so I wrote that down, and we've been talking about it here.
We joke about that all the time.
Now
on the
you had
show.
talked about the Cyber Symposium. Now this is the one that Mike Lindell put up, and
Yes.
I believe all 3 of you were there. We watched you. We were so
Kel-
proud.
Kelly was not there.
Kelly.
Fincham came.
Oh,
Fincham,
yeah, that's
Borelli,
right.
and
That's
Wendy.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
But we were so proud of
And
you.
Carrie Lake was there also, and Jim Lehman.
Oh, great. Yeah,
And I
Carrie
hope you
Lake
got
running
my
for governor.
I hope you
Jim
got
Lehman
my
for-
congratulations. I sent you all congratulations on the job well done because we
Yeah.
were watching it on the tube here, and I did send you all a little congratulatory.
Well, thank you.
So for those of you who are listening, Carrie Lake is running for governor here in the state of Arizona. Jim Lehman is running for state senator.
U.S. Senate.
U.S. Senate, excuse me. U.S. Senate. So, look out for them as well. Now, it's my understanding that at this symposium, by the end of the symposium, all 50 states were represented there. Is that your understanding as well?
That was my understanding. I don't know that for 100% sure, but I met so many, state reps and state senators. In fact, I got them all. There's a picture I had taken of us where I put us all in a stairwell, and then we were looking up at the camera because that's the only way we could all fit into one picture.
Wow.
And it was kind of fun. And that has really morphed into a wonderful thing because, say, for example, Washington State is now having hearings, and they're pressing forward valiantly with only like 1 or 2 state reps at the lead. And those guys came to the audit in Arizona and met me, one of whom is Rob Sutherland, also an Air Force veteran. And so we had gotten to know each other, and then we saw each other in Sioux Falls and so on. Well, then fast forward about a week after Sioux Falls, I got this call from a guy in North Dakota, one of the state reps, and all these people go into my smartphone. They say, "Oh, Wendy, what about your assistant? Tell him or her this." I go, "My assistant is my iPhone. That's it." So all these people go into my iPhone, and I get little pictures of them and everything because, it's a lot of information. So anyway, one of the North Dakotans reached out to me and said, "This is where we are in the process. I need your help. What do I do?" And I said, "Hey, Washington State is about one step ahead of you. Let me make sure in this case, Rob Sutherland, and you should talk to him because he's just a teeny bit ahead of you." And so that was something I could do, okay? I could connect them. And then Rob Sutherland, for example, said, "Hey, I'm going to have this initial hearing," and that was pretty early in our journey. It was right after Sioux Falls. And he said, "Can you put this out on social media?" I said, "Absolutely." This is like 11 at night, East Coast time. So I put it out there, and then I scolded him. I said, "Rob, you don't even have a Twitter handle. Get with the program here, And he goes, "Oh, yeah, okay. Wendy, okay." So I'm coaching people sort of at a different level depending on where they are. But that was sort of cute. And then the North Dakotans got linked up, and then fast forward North Carolina again. As I said, I did a rally there with Sandy Smith, and you'd say to me, "Well, why?" Because North Carolina went for Trump. Hey, as I said before, they would have won. Trump would have won by a lot more. There were all kinds of evidences of fraud that people were telling me about from the audience just in my one visit there. So this is countrywide. And my whole mantra has been, we must audit every county that used machines.
Yeah. Ron, being an accountant, accounting and audits, it's just commonplace for you.
Right.
For the average person who owns a business, audits are commonplace. Even if as individuals, sometimes you get audited on your taxes. So I would like to see, and we can't thank you enough, because this isn't really part of the realm of being a state senator. It's you coming to bat and going out there and really investing a lot of time and an effort to do this. So thank you again on that. But I think
but it is the plenary power.
Oh, absolutely.
Endowed to the state legislatures to make sure that the U.S. presidential election be done right. And so I do take that obligation freely and without any any
and our
purpose of evasion.
Our Constitution is very clear as to whose responsibility that is.
Right. So people need to step up, and this is what I put out on my social media, and this is what I will say tomorrow in my various meetings. State representatives and state senators, you better get on the right side of history right now, because the snowball is coming down the hill, and the truth is going to come out. And you better just sit up and realize what your obligation is with the oath that you took, because this is a national implication here with what you do.
So, Ron, I think that there should be a time where an audit of an election is set and it's standard. And I don't know,
Yes.
Wendy, if you would agree with me, but
Yes, absolutely.
If we
Fincham says that too.
Yeah, if we took the precincts, it's hand ballots, we count it right away, we know the results right away, it goes right to an audit committee or audit organization that has everybody involved, whether it's Republican, Democrat, Independent, and they audit it right away, and within a week we know that it was done properly and that it was double checked.
Well,
Yes.
the thing here that's always been a little troubling to me, as an auditor, I used to travel, and I did vote early, but it was under it wasn't under early voting rules. It was under absentee ballot rules, which was quite a bit different. You had to have a good reason why you would be out of town on election day. Now,
Right.
we cannot have a season of voting. You just can't.
Right.
I mean, I believe the presidential election in one of the southern states started like right after Labor Day last year, which would mean that it starts tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's too much.
Which is crazy. And
Right.
if we can determine who is the what is some of these quiz shows, the America's Funniest Dancers or the Greatest Dancers, and if we can figure out within minutes who the greatest dancers are, celebrity dancers, we certainly can count ballots a little slower but a little more correctly. And this is the thing, as an auditor, Wendy, people have told me, oh, they're doing everything wrong. No, they're not. They're doing everything right. Audits are not about, and this is the one thing, and we've spoken about this many times, because the Board of Supervisors, we don't see any evidence which would require an audit. You don't need evidence to have an audit. Audits
Right.
are about
They-
compliance. You determine
Right.
if you've complied with all the rules. You don't have to have evidence to cause an audit to take place.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well-
No. If you recall, when I was on your show in person, I showed you that ballot
Right.
with the black light. Well, if
Exactly.
we do that, which is what we should do, and what we appropriated in the appropriations bill
There it is.
in June, that should be the ballot. And oh, by the way, when you cast that ballot, it immediately goes up onto the internet as having been your ballot cast. And then you can go on the internet, online, on a website to see where your ballot, when it was cast. That way it's public and it's irrefutable. And so that is all part of that mechanism.
Well, the thing that's
Fincham
important
has.
here, and I want to stress this: while it's public, it's not.
It's still
not
private as
it's
to
a
how
private
you voted.
ballot.
Yes.
And
yes.
as we have said many times, voting is a very private and sacred
Yes.
responsibility. But
Yep.
counting ballots is not. It's a public responsibility.
Right. Well, I'm going to jump off, but I want to conclude by saying thank you for following, and I would ask everybody to please go to wendyrogers.org. That's my main website, Wendy, WENDY, Rogers, ROGERS.org, wendyrogers.org, and sign the petition to decertify the election. It's the upper right corner of my landing page on wendyrogers.org. We want 1 million signatures to show that 1 million people say this should be decertified. It is a symbolic national petition, and guess what? We have 500,000 now, 500,000
Wow.
signatures,
Wow.
and we're really proud of this. And all over the country, people are going on to wendyrogers.org. They're going up to the upper right corner of the landing page to sign, and it is a powerful voice all of us have.
All right. So for the people that are listening around the country, anybody can sign this. It's not just Arizona, correct?
Correct.
All right. wendyrogers.org, top right-hand corner. Make sure that you click that, sign up for a decertification of the last election, because I think when the audit does come out, you're going to see that explode. I think it is. Do we have any idea? I know you said you talked to President Fan just yesterday or the day before. Do we have any idea when the people who have been waiting very patiently for information, when that's going to start coming out?
My hope is about a week and a half from now.
Okay. So we're looking at end of next week. Ron and Wendy, will you join us again when we hear the information? Will you make a little bit of time for us?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
You guys I love, and you are my state, and just if I can do it by phone, that would be helpful if I'm mobile, but
Well, if you're
whatever.
in- if
it
you're
takes.
Who knows where you're going to be? Oh my gosh.
You're a traveling lady, I'll tell you
That's
that.
right.
Well, we should be home this weekend in Arizona.
And best of
And,
luck with the Toyota Avalon that needs a
Oh
quart
my
every
God.
800 miles.
My neighbor in Flagstaff says, Wendy, you really should talk to Toyota, and they could maybe give you a new car because your story with that car is just
Yeah,
amazing.
how many? Over 300,000 miles?
381.
Almost 400,000 miles. They should definitely give you a new car.
Yeah, my mechanic in Flagstaff says I said, well, how long do I have, Tim? And he's a former Marine officer. He goes, Senator,
Hoorah.
you just drive that car till the wheels fall off. I said, you got it.
That's awesome.
Listen,
Well, thank
we
you.
appreciate it. If you get stuck anywhere, let us know, and we'll take up a oil collection here from
That's
money
right.
to send you an oil.
Senator Wendy Rogers
change.
here from the wonderful state of Arizona. That's at wendyrogers.org. Sign up. Make sure that you sign
And the
to
two of you have
decertify
a,
the
have
election.
a very, very, very wonderful trip.
Safe travels.
And just tell everybody out there that we're very proud of you
Yes.
and proud to lead the nation in this great effort to straighten our system back up and make it fly the way our founders found it.
Absolutely. Thank
So,
you, Ray. Thank you, Ron. God
okay.
bless.
God bless.
Thank
We'll
you
see
very much.
Thanks.
All right.
We are going to have to go to a break here, Mr. Ray.
Right now?
Right now, we're going to have
Beautiful
to take a
Labor
break.
Day.
Yeah, Labor Day break. And,
Hey, we got a lot of people, a lot of great sponsors for this show. So watch this, very important.
and we're looking for some more sponsors
We
as
are,
well.
yes.
So we'll.
What's coming up?
Well, coming up, this is good. We're going to have somebody from El Paso, Texas coming up. She's running for Congress. And the important thing is here, she's going to be talking about a lot of the people that have been brought by the government, the U.S. government, to Fort Bliss. And these are some of the Afghan people and the lack of controls they put on as to
So
who's
stick
coming
around.
to our country. So stick around. We'll be right back. And we'll be with this young lady. See ya. Located in downtown Phoenix, the Colden Law Group specializes in business and election law, civil and political litigation, as well as evictions and special actions. Call them today at 602-730-2985. That's 602-730-2985.
In a world where security matters more than ever, Lionheart Security Services stands head and shoulders above the competition. Whether it's airport security, high-rise residential and office security, event security, warehouse security, or even personal security, call the best of the best. Lionheart Security Services. We provide armed and unarmed officers. Our armed officers are held to the strictest standards of 90% accuracy, 20% higher than Arizona standards. When it comes to securing you, your goods, and services. Call Lionheart Security Services, 480-485-2304, or find them on the web at lionheartsecurityservices.com.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
I'm Senator Sonny Borelli, and when I come to Phoenix, I always want to be informed, so I tune in to Hub Radio Phoenix. You want to be informed? I suggest you do the same. Make sure you tune in.
Hi, I'm Martha Llamas and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, Let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe. Hi, I'm Marta Llamas, and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe.
favorite because they're bright red, and I love bright red.
Well, tell you what, Irene, a couple of things. First of all, how many people are being sent to the to Fort Bliss, and how does the general community feel about that?
Well, I think people are concerned here. We definitely have a divide. The problem is that, we don't have any transparency from the government. Yes, they tell us they're vetted, but are we really going to rely on a third world country to have proper documentation? And how many of these documents, I'm sure all of us have watched the images of men standing there waiting their papers. There's a lot of corruption in these countries, and we're gonna trust that these men belong to those documents. It's the same thing that we have here on the border. If you want a fake passport, everybody knows where to go get one.
Yes.
Fake social security card, everybody knows where to get one. And then we have real people victimized where their identity is stolen. My brother-in-law, who is actually born in Mexico, naturalized U.S. citizen, he was a victim of identity theft where they actually cut off his phone because he's allegedly lived in Kansas. And when they called the phone company and they're like, what are you doing? They said, well, how can you prove? So every year when it's tax time, he has to prove that he's him because he's a victim of identity theft. And so we're relying on these people in this country where there's a lot of corruption, that these documents actually belong to those people, even if they were vetted when they were in Afghanistan. Even if it did happen, how can we prove that these people are who they say they are? And I think the last number I heard here was about 1,200.
And of course, we do know that Afghanistan is the home of terrorism, and we know that in your country, in El Paso, I'm not sure when it was, a couple of years ago. Now it just seems like yesterday, had that horrible shooting at the the Costco or Walmart.
It was at Walmart, yes.
And I don't know how long ago that was, but that was a horrible thing. And then to put people into the country into the United States that we know that they train people to be terrorists, and they seem to enjoy killing Americans and causing all kinds of trouble. That's got to be very dispiriting.
Well, and we also have the illegal unaccompanied minors in Fort Bliss. So we have a base that if you don't have proper documentation, an El Pasoan can't get on base. And now we have all the illegal unaccompanied minors. Now we have these so-called Friends of America that they've been vetted in Fort Bliss. They're coming in and out as they please. They're not restricted to one area of Fort Bliss, that we know. But even Senator Cruz was here last week, and in the interview he said, we just don't know. This government this administration is not being transparent. I have spoken with many soldiers that are in Fort Bliss, and none of them are happy with having them in the base. Yet our representative, who is Beto O'Rourke's puppet, she says that the soldiers call them their guests, that they're happy that they're there. It's a blatant lie. And again, our representative here in El Paso, Veronica Escobar, she's the one that said that El Paso's the new Ellis Island.
Oh, yes.
She doesn't care for Americans. This is putting our children in jeopardy. Even if you have one terrorist, do you think it's worth the safety of our families here in El Paso?
No.
And nobody seems to care.
Yeah. And you know, the comments about Ellis Island. Ellis Island was very tightly controlled. If you didn't meet the rules to become at least a visitor and potential citizen in the country, you had health standards. And if you couldn't pass, if you had COVID today, they would have put you on the boat and sent you back. They would not have allowed you into the country. And I
Well, it was our
recognize.
immigration system. It was the immigration system of the time, and they had to follow the process. And that's all we're asking. We're asking people, we're not against immigration. We're asking people to do it the right way. You know, illegal immigration hurts everybody, including the illegal immigrant. How many illegal immigrants are being victimized right at this moment?
Oh,
They're
yes.
in a situation of slavery, of prostitution. Children are used as a commodity, and the only ones that are benefiting are the leftist politicians and the cartels and the corrupt governments.
Yes. Yes. Now, you're running for Congress. What on earth is wrong with you thinking that you want to put yourself in that position?
Well, you know, it was back in 2016 that my husband was sent to Washington, D.C. for his job. And we were supposed to be there. He was supposed to be there a month. It turned out to be 6 months. And we were blessed to be at President Trump's inauguration, which was a gift from the Lord. At that time that we were in D.C., I really felt that the Lord was calling me to get back to El Paso and get involved civically. One of the things that we have here is because we have 83% Hispanic. In the Hispanic, very Mexican culture, including the culture, you know, the home that I grew up in, because my parents are Mexican immigrants, voting is not a priority. It's not like you turn 18 and your parents take you to the post office and you get registered and you get involved. So for a lot of the people that actually come from Mexico, they don't see the benefit of voting. So this is a cultural problem. Why? Because in Mexico, it's very corrupt. And people say, why do we vote? It doesn't matter. They're going to do whatever they want anyways. And so it was very hard for my parents to even accept the fact that I was getting involved. I actually helped the last congressional candidate before me when he lost in 2018, which was the first time she won. Beto O'Rourke was running for Senate when he ran against Ted Cruz, so he didn't run again for the House. So she ran, and then she won. The day after, I received a call, and from the Republican Party of Texas, a lady that worked with them at that time, and she asked me to consider running. And because of my Hispanic identity and a woman, she said, you know, another Hispanic woman has to run. And so it was very hard work. I ran in 2020. We doubled the Republican vote, and now I've never stopped running. We've been working since November the 4th because we can't lose all the ground that we have gained.
Well, thank you so much for that.
And I believe El Paso is Republican. Our values as a Hispanic community are very...
I never could understand that way because I had a house down in Mexico, and
Okay.
I could not believe, you know, very religious, very family-oriented, very youth-oriented, and
Well,
I was...
we're not going to put it all on the Democrats. Where have the Republicans...
Well, exactly, and you know we're just as hard on the Republicans here as we are on the Democrats. And
Good.
My compadre here, a little Spanish lingo there.
I didn't know you were multilingual there,
I am
Ron.
multilingual. At any rate, he ran for state senate here. Unfortunately, he ran against a legend, a woman that had been in there for like 48 years or so,
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
But at any rate, so I do want to thank you. Now, Ray, I've got a little secret. You're not going to believe this. I was talking to Irene, and we happen to know the U.S. representative from the district just north of her in New Mexico, Yvette. And so and she was in the kind of the same boat you were. She ran one time and lost, and then she jumped in again, and this time she won. So this is I hope this is a precursor for your future.
We're actually squished in between two Republican districts. Yvette's and Tony Gonzalez's. What happened with Yvette is that the RNC pumped in a lot of money into that district, and that made a world of difference. And that's what I'm getting at, is we are by values standard, we are a Republican city, but the Republicans have completely ignored El Paso. So it takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of hard work, and that's the lesson I learned from 2020. We need the money. We worked very hard. We knocked on thousands of doors, and that's why we were able to double the Republican vote. And also, she is so disliked by even her own party, Veronica Escobar. I have big time, lifelong Democrats call me at least once a week. I get a call where they're telling me I can't stand her. The JFK Democrats are so sick of Beto and Veronica Escobar and their progressive mentality. You know, you mentioned the shooting at the Walmart 2 years ago. It was in 2019, August the 3rd. This is my Walmart. This is the Walmart I shop at. I live a mile away from that Walmart.
Oh my!
It just so happened that the day before we left out of town on our family vacation. But my friend called me as we were leaving Phoenix, as a matter of fact, because we spent the night in Phoenix. And she said, Irene, did you guys leave? And I said, yes. She goes, good. Mando, who's her husband, is a police officer. He's on his way to Walmart, by your Walmart. You know, everybody owns a Walmart here. Your Walmart. Your Walmart, because there's an active shooter. And I was driving and I had to pull over because I lost my, like, where we were going. I couldn't believe this was happening in my hometown, because we are a very giving, loving. When people come to El Paso, that's one of the things they talk about. The people are so nice. But part of it is, you mentioned Beto. He is, his speech is, and his rhetoric is so full of bigotry that it has divided people. And of course, we have the media that's on their side. They completely ignore us. So any ground we gain, the media can't say that they helped. And the contrary, they try to hurt us. But that's part of the problem, that you have that Beto factor that is not just Democrat. They're completely progressive, liberal, 100% on the opposite end of what we stand for. And it's funny because our representative, I get asked on the street if I'm her. We resemble each other. But because she has a lot more years, I mean, she's been in politics, I think 14 to 15 years. And so people ask me if I'm her, but we couldn't be more opposite. I stand for life. I stand for progress. For that. I stand for family. I stand for freedom. I stand for everything that this country was founded on. And she is on the opposite end. She's anti-life, anti-progress, anti-democracy, anti-family and faith, and we're like completely opposites.
Wow. Now, Irene, so at Fort Bliss right now, you said there's about 1,200 immigrants that are coming in. Now,
That's the last number.
The last number, okay. So the reports that I've been getting is that people have been coming over. They don't necessarily speak English. I don't know if that's true or not, but you talked about the vetting process, and just because they say that they've been vetted. So let's think this thing through, right? If they're vetted by a corrupt government, who a lot of the people in that situation, especially now with the Taliban, want to do harm to the U.S., wouldn't they say, oh yeah, this guy's really good, just to send him over here to possibly cause
would seem
issue?
That would make sense, yes.
Yeah. All right, so you know, Ron and I talk a lot on this program about America being an idea. No matter where you come from in the world, whether you're from Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, wherever you come from, the idea is, I want to be an American. It's e pluribus unum, out of many, one. So the assimilation factor is so very important. Now, if we have refugees that are coming in to America just because they want to leave there, it doesn't necessarily mean that they want the idea of being an American. They don't necessarily agree with our laws that are set up, the Constitution.
To share our values.
To share our
that
values.
Make us Americans.
And to assimilate in. Because the whole concept is, out of many, we have one idea, we have one foundation, because then we can all get along. So is the plan in El Paso specifically to to take these refugees, reestablish them in one tiny community so they have a core of that is a separate area for them? Or are they going to put them throughout other areas where they assimilate into the American dream, the American way? What is the ultimate plan for these 1,200, I'll put in quotes, vetted people? What's the game plan?
Well, one of the things that that we have to learn from our history, right? If we don't learn from our past, we're doomed to repeat the same mistakes.
Right.
And when all this started happening, the only thing I could think of was Ilhan Omar. She came as a refugee, and look at what we have in Congress.
Yeah.
We
anti-American.
Exactly. We as a country demand that people assimilate. Like my parents. I always go back to my parents because my parents are the greatest example. They came to the United States legally to give their children a better life. We were all born in El Paso, but at the beginning of my life, I lived in Ciudad Juarez, which is our neighbor city. One day my dad came home from work and it was winter. Now in Mexico, you lose electricity, you lose gas. It just happens. It's switched off and it just kind of goes away.
Yeah, the infrastructure is not the same as in the United States.
And so my dad came home from work and he was a trash collector at Fort Bliss at this time. And so he comes home and he finds my mom, my older sister, and myself under the blankets. And he says, "What's going on?" My mom says, "We lost the gas. There's no gas for the heater." And they said that was the pivotal point. They already had their legal residency, but they weren't living in the United States. And they said, "Why are we suffering in Juarez? Let's go to El Paso." And that's what shifted them to El Paso. And now their allegiance, do they go to Ciudad Juarez? Of course they do. They go to church. They're very mission oriented. We still have a lot of family in Ciudad Juarez, but they know what this country has given them. On May the 15th of 2019, I received an invitation to go to the Rose Garden and listen to President Trump's remarks on immigration reform. And I know the date because that's my dad's birthday. I went to lunch with them, with my mom and my dad, and I said, "I just received this invitation." And it was for the next day. It was crazy because it was for the next day. And my husband's like, "We're going to pay whatever we need to pay because how often do you get an invitation to go to the Rose Garden?" And so I looked at my parents and I said, "Mom, Dad, if I meet President Trump, what is your message to them?" And my very Mexican mother, with tears in her eyes. Now, remember what was happening May of 2019. It was this immigration, not the first, we've been dealing with this for a while, but it was during the immigration crisis when President Trump was here, was still president. And she looked at me with tears in her eyes and she says, "Tell him to take care of Americans first."
Wow.
Maybe that's where he got his America First.
Yeah.
I didn't get to meet him. So I wasn't able to deliver the message to him. What I'm saying is that for anybody that tells you that Hispanics or legal Mexicans or immigrants that have come here to the United States legally, or the children of immigrants that are here, that were here legally, that they tell you that we're for illegal immigration or any of the stuff that's going on, it is a blatant lie.
Yes,
Because my parents came for a reason.
I have
And
seen
they
that.
don't get to usurp that. They don't get to override it. And so what we're seeing is like the corruption is like a boiling pot. And now with Biden in office, it's like somebody turned on
It's just
the
letting
heat.
people come in, just open the doors and let people in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Irene,
so
I'm
we're
not.
getting them from both sides.
I'm not
Go
sure
ahead.
if Ron wanted to get into this or not, but there was a big Supreme Court case in Texas
Yes.
just last week,
Oh,
and
yes.
your opponent there, I'm sure, is going absolutely
You mean
ballistic.
the right to life?
The right-
Well, didn't
yes.
you see the fake
Abortion.
crying of Beto O'Rourke? On
Yeah. He was
all the
crying.
fake crying? Oh, allegedly crying.
Yeah.
Somebody was probably pinching him.
Well, Ron and I talk a lot about the states' rights. They're all individual countries that have come together, and it's the states who formed the federal government. The federal government is not
Did not
supposed
form
to be,
the states.
It didn't form the states. So it's the United States of America. Now, you representing the great state of Texas,
Right.
when you get in there, states' rights are being usurped all the time. You have Nancy Pelosi sending in the Capitol Police to set up little outlets in each one of the states. For what reason? Good reason. For what good reason, we don't know. But when the President of the United States and the Speaker of the House say, we will use the full backing of the federal government to make sure that the women of Texas have reproductive rights, or reproductive health care, or however they want to do it, that really rubs me the wrong way, because where does the federal government get that authority to go against any state, whether it's Texas or Hawaii, to go up and use the full force to force a state to do something that the duly elected officials have already voted and the governor has signed? So where are you on that from your position running for U.S. Congress?
So one of the things that is on my agenda is to shrink the federal government and take back the United States
Amen.
to its constitutional beginnings
And its
if
limitations.
I'm reading a book. I mean, I'm strong about what the authority of and the lack of power that the federal government should have. One of the things that I'm 100% against are executive orders. I don't care if it's a Republican president or a Democrat president. Never was the idea of our founding fathers to have the executive branch legislate.
Right.
And now to have the executive threatening the people of the states, they never have had that authority. But we, the people, have allowed it. We fell asleep at the wheel and we didn't stop them at the beginning. Now we have a big job to do. And it's not going to be popular amongst the establishment on either side, which, by the way, I'm against, because they are filling and lining their pockets with money that comes from power that they shouldn't have. How dare Biden? How dare Pelosi tell my state, tell me individually as a woman, as a mother and a grandmother and a wife, that they will defend women's right to murder the most helpless of our society?
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah,
You're
to
certainly
your point,
you're certainly one of us. That's for sure.
to your point, and Ron, I don't know if you saw this, but this is very interesting. How you said that the executive branch is legislating and they're making decisions. They're taking out the Congress, or they're not even considering the Congress and decisions that they make. This said, Joe Biden stopped the Pentagon from providing a report to Congress about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Did you read this? This was from the Washington Free Beacon. President Joe Biden waived a mandate back in June that would have forced the Pentagon to provide a detailed report to Congress about the risks of leaving Afghanistan. Under the federal statute, the administration was barred from reducing troops in Afghanistan below 2,000 without first briefing Congress about the expected impact on U.S. counterterrorism operations and the risk to American personnel. Biden waived the mandate in June, arguing that providing this information to Congress could undermine the national security interest of the United States. And it goes on. So here's just another example of the president saying, you know what, I really don't need Congress to decide what's going to happen. You know, this happened with the whole immigration issue that Obama passed with regard to changing immigration law. What is it? What's the name of the I'm
the
losing
asylum?
here. It's for the kids who were here.
The unaccompanied minors?
Yes, yeah. What was the name of that executive order that he did? DACA. He
yeah.
did this executive order for DACA. He totally bypassed Congress and the laws that they had already passed with regard to immigration via executive order fiat. And then when President Trump came in and said, I'm just rescinding DACA on an executive order, people were in an uproar. It's almost as though we think that the executive branch can make law. We talked about the Supreme Court making law where they make an opinion on one case and people say, well, it's the law of the land. The Supreme Court has spoken. They forget that they don't pass laws.
Exactly. They don't have that power.
Well, there's that thing, you know, that they seem to believe they have the power to mandate. They have the power to order. And then there's the power of law. Law
Right.
usurps all of those. It's primary. I get upset over this constantly when, you know, we can get into this. We're not going to, because we got to take a break here, and we'll let you go for the, for the evening, what's left of it. But that is, people have certain rights, but you don't have the right to do something that violates my rights. And if I elect a congressman to make laws, I don't expect the CDC, for an example, to make a law and tell me I got to do this.
No, but that's what Joe Biden did. He said,
That's
well, I
exactly
can't
what he
mandate
did.
this, but the CDC, or I can't extend. It was for the people who were renting, right? The renter credit and all of that.
Right.
Listen, Irene, how do we get in touch with you? How do we find out a little bit more about you? How can we support your campaign? Give us the website.
TakeBackUSCongress.com.
Oh, I love it.
That's easy. TakeBackUSCongress.com.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I even got that.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's
Wow.
my website.
All right, Ron, you have another chance to pronounce her name.
I'm just going to say good night, Wendy. Irene Jackson. One time was good. I'm not going to try it
Come
again.
on, Ron, you gotta help us out here.
Hey, I'm gonna be in touch with you because there's some other things I think that maybe we can be of assistance to you with as well.
Excellent.
So we do thank you for spending a Labor Day evening with us and our audience, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much
Tell
for
the
coming
people
on
of
the show.
Texas about Hub Radio Phoenix here. Have them.
Tell them
Will
Hub Radio
do.
Phoenix
Yeah.
is their friend.
It is.
Yes.
Thanks,
Will do.
Irene.
God bless you.
Best
and
of
it's
luck
been
to
an
you.
honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take back
Bye now. Yes.
USCongress.com.
.com. That's
Awesome.
easy, and it's true. Okay, lots more to come. Don't go away.
Today, the world is full of misinformation. News stories on the surface may seem real, but under closer scrutiny are fake. Corruption and fraud are everywhere. There's a better political news and information website, BackstreetGossip.com, where you'll find the latest stories and information that's circling the media world. You'll see stories of the day and stories that will be discussed tomorrow. BackstreetGossip.com will provide you with informative content that any reader would be amazed to gossip about. BackstreetGossip.com, providing information from Earth and beyond. In a world where security matters more than ever, Lionheart Security Services stands head and shoulders above the competition. Whether it's airport security, high-rise residential and office security, event security, warehouse security, or even personal security, call the best of the best. Lionheart Security Services. We provide armed and unarmed officers. Our armed officers are held to the strictest standards of 90% accuracy, 20% higher than Arizona standards. When it comes to securing you, your goods, and services. Call Lionheart Security Services, 480-485-2304, or find them on the web at lionheartsecurityservices.com. Fake news and leftist commentary have left listeners looking for the truthful news, reasonable analysis, and real-life solutions to America's complex issues. Sound like an impossible task? Well, it's not. There's something new, honesty in reporting, something exciting, something that is cutting edge. Fighting Back is a Hub Radio production that takes a deep dive into the murky world of unbridled state, local, national, and international political intrigue. And of course, Fighting Back also has a softer side. Tune in every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Google Hub Radio Phoenix, click on the link, and then click on Video Live to be inspired by new perspectives on daily issues. Fighting Back, clarifying the confusion of 21st century mayhem.
Hey, I'm known as the toughest sheriff in America, but I'll tell you one thing. When I want the real story, I go to that tough station called Hub Radio Phoenix to get the real story.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
My name is Brian Eldridge, and I'm running for Arizona State Senate LD 21. When I want the real news, I watch Hub Radio Phoenix.
Hi, I'm Martha Llamas, and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe.
You're watching Backstreet Gossip, news talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Ron Letters. Now, let's return to the show.
Ray, our audience came back.
I know, after that last interview, they wanted to hear what we had to say.
They went out to watch the sunset, and they were so excited about Irene that they came back, and they're applauding us.
I think they went out for the grand opening of the Chick-fil-A.
The Chick-fil-A? Okay. Hey, listen, we've got another wonderful guest here, and this gentleman is running for the Senate in Arizona in District 21, and his name is Ryan Eldridge. And golly, I feel you guys have both run for office, and here I am. I got started in that one time, and wife decided to have a baby, and so I backed out of running for the legislature. In those days, the salary was $18,000 a year.
Is that why your son's name Election?
His name is actually Tory, which is a political party.
It is
in England.
Yeah, it is.
And
the
which
Tory
party is it? The Conservative Party. So his name is actually Tory. He's one of the Tories. So, at any rate, we're glad to have you. You've been to the studio before and like to watch the show and that, and we've had a great deal of discussion with you beforehand. I'm always curious because I know what drove me to run for office, and I know what has driven Ray to run for office. Tell us what's the driving factor to make you want to be a Arizona senator?
Well, you kind of mentioned that you didn't run because you had babies. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm running. I actually have a 25-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Wow, were the last two surprises?
They were miracles in my book. And then I just remarried a year and a half ago, so now I have 4 from her. And they're all grown, they're in their 20s, but...
Are you sure last name isn't Brady? Mixing family.
That's a good one. But I'm just
Brady Bunch.
Well, we should do a Brady Bunch thing. That would be fun.
Yeah. So you want to run because you see your children, and you're living in the state of Arizona, and you don't like some of the decisions that have been made, and you feel that you can contribute.
I do. It scares me to death to see what's going on with schools. My 6-year-old just started kindergarten last semester. And last year, and she was doing it by computer, and I'm being told by her teacher, well, your daughter has a hard time paying attention. Yeah,
she's 6.
She's 6. She's on the computer for 5 hours, so it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
And so my daughter, getting excited about first grade, she comes to me and says, "Daddy, can you fix COVID so I can go to school?" And she gets it. I think she's starting to understand, the concept of what's going on. And being a dad, you got to be able to fix these things. So, so I have a lot to fight for when it comes to my children, my stepchildren, my grandchildren. I have 2 grandchildren too. And, I live in the community. I'm out in the community. I shop in the community. I'm a small business owner myself. I'm an NRA certified instructor. So I do a lot of firearm safety classes, and I teach a lot of classes. And just hearing the stories from people, how scared they are about the direction the state's going. And then plus, seeing the changes firsthand of everything that's going on, it scares me to death to think about, if I was to pass away 5, 6, 7 years from now, what would my daughter have to grow up in?
Right. So you're in LD21, so give us an idea of where that's located. What's the boundaries on that?
LD21 covers El Mirage, Sun City, Surprise, Youngtown, and Peoria.
All right. So it's a pretty varied area. I mean, when you're talking about Peoria compared to Surprise
and Sun City.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very wide area. Have you been able to get out into the community? Are you still getting signatures? Where do you sit right now in the campaign?
Well, right now we've started our signatures. We've actually done a couple house events where we've gone and met with families, spoken with families in different groups. We're actually looking for more to do. To get more involved. I'm starting to speak with a lot of small business owners. I'm hearing their stories about how they were forced to shut down, how they've lost most of their business. They may not even be able to recover. During the last election cycle, I actually talked to many of them that aren't around anymore. And it's heartbreaking for me to see, and I know firsthand, my security business that I own, I've had a security business for 10 years. And, COVID started really tearing apart my business because a lot of my clients were forced to shut down. So therefore, I'm not allowed to run my business because I have no more clients.
I always thought it was really strange that one person, because the Senate and the House had already ended for the year, but here's one person saying, "You're necessary, you're unnecessary." How is it possible that any job isn't necessary? It's necessary to work. It's necessary to make money, to feed your families. Every job, I guess they use the word essential. This is essential. This is non-essential. And I don't know the rationale of saying that somebody's work, when they're putting their time, their life energy into a job, how that's all of a sudden considered non-essential. It's almost like, hey, you're just wasting your time, what you're doing for work. But this guy is really important. And then I always thought, Ron, you had brought it up. How is it that things are safe at Home Depot, but at the mom and pop lawnmower place, it's not safe there? These are arbitrary decisions. And again, I mean, people know where I stand. I would have immediately, if you needed to do something, do it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but then immediately bring back the session of the Senate and the House, because they're representing the people. One person can't do that. They can't represent everyone.
They made that mistake where they gave, I think, unbridled power to the governor, and they should have had it at a time. Of course, when something is a disaster, you can't get 90 minds together in a couple of days and come up with a solution. So you do have to have somebody to take control over the issue. But the governor's still in control over this, and the legislature is not. And this has been, 18 months now, I believe. And the governor is still calling the shots. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad governor. He's trying to do what he thinks best. But he can't represent everybody in Arizona. And as a senator, you will represent a small group of people with interest, because you have a very special area, as a matter of fact, because you've got a lot of older people, retired people, probably more susceptible to COVID than in other areas. So you take the people and you try to resolve the issues that are of interest to them and not the entire state, because the governor can't be in charge of the whole state. That's why we have districts.
Right, and to bring in all of the thoughts, all of the ideas, all of the representation, because you have your PCs in the certain districts, right? And then you represent an area, and then you collectively represent the state, and then the governor is really there as, I would say that his position is to gather all of the people together to put all their heads together. I think he should have called a special session after a certain period of time. But you were here, you heard Senator Wendy Rogers. She comes from a very rural area, and she is a firecracker. She's stepped up to the plate. She's one of the few, and we've mentioned them here before, who's willing to go that extra mile, who takes very seriously her commitment to serve the public. Now, where would you be seen, given that you were elected the last cycle? Where would you sit? Are you more of a bystander? Are you more of, hey, I'll help if they need me? Or are you more of a go-getter, I'm going to stick my neck out?
Well, I've always believed that you've got to fight for everything. I've had to fight for pretty much everything my whole life, growing up with with a hearing loss. I've been kind of given the stigma, you've got disability. Fought through that. I've proven people wrong. I'm the kind of guy that I'm going to be out there with the public. Okay, I probably would have not have voted Sendai because the job's not done. And yes, I am one guy out of the whole Senate, but I'm going to be that loud voice. Thank God Wendy is doing what she's doing. Borelli's doing what he's doing. Everything is going, good for them. But we still have a lot of senators that have just disappeared. Once they went Sendai, where did they go? And, especially the last, right when we needed them the most, when COVID started popping up, they all went Sendai, and then you didn't see any of them in public. So maybe
and as a matter of fact,
that bothers me, and I was out there.
I would have been.
And as a matter of fact, some of them even made public statements that they did not want to be at the state capitol.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you took that responsibility on, and you said I'll serve for 2 years.
Well, the person
honor your commitment.
The person that I ran against, I won't mention her name on here, but she stood up. She said, "I've been in the longest. I'm the oldest one here, and my life is more important than this job."
Wow.
And I put that up against, we're willing to give up our life, our fortune, and our sacred honor. And I put the two. How different from the founding of this country to now have we gotten? How far to the extreme? So give us like 3 top things that are on your radar when you go there to represent LD21 and you're sitting there. What are some of the 3 to 5 things that are very important to you?
Well, they definitely want to work on the election integrity. That is first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because without a fair election, nothing we're going to do is going to mean anything. Definitely want to work on the border. Let's get that border wall finished. There's no reason why it should not be finished. And then it's keep the second one. I want to work with Article 3. I want in the Arizona Constitution is to keep the governor in check with these mandates. I don't see anything that's in the Arizona Constitution that says he can make a mandate to tell people they can't go outside. He can't make a mandate to tell people they have to shut their businesses down, especially when, he's very well taken care of. It doesn't affect him. I have to think about all those people and all those families that are affected on it, and as a former business owner, I see that too, because I've taken care of families by hiring employees, and to see their livelihoods disappear, it's heartbreaking.
Now, education, Ron, you know this. Education is very, very important.
Yes.
We spend a lot of money on, I think it's one of the top 3 spending in the state. And now the school boards are a little out of control. What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Well, so far, I've been very fortunate. My daughter goes to Peoria Unified, and they are not enforcing masks at this time, which is good. And my daughter actually knows she's not going to wear a mask if she doesn't want to. It should be choice. We're talking also watching the front lines for CRT. We know that they're using it. They're getting around, the law where they say we're not allowed to teach it, but they still are. My daughter should be able to pray at school if she wants to pray at school, without being, bullied by the district and the teachers. Then we need to get back to the basics of, U.S. history. Not necessarily told from a certain point of view. Let's stick to the facts. Math, we need to get ourselves out of, the federal school system that they want to impose on us, and let the state itself run the schools.
Very good. Very good. Some other issues. You back the police?
Yeah, I'm definitely, being in the protection industry for 25 years. I've worked hand in hand with law enforcement, firefighters and medics, and then, first responders in hospitals and such too. So it's very important for me to work with our law enforcement team. As a matter of fact, Jerry Sheridan, very proud, he's actually come out and endorsed my campaign.
Oh, that's great.
And he's going to be speaking at an event that we're planning on November 11th, where he's going to announce his endorsement as well.
You're going to be at a pretty large venue. That's the big Dream City Church, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
Is that north?
That's
north,
75th and 101.
Is that Peoria?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that
it's
Peoria?
Glendale, but it's right on the
Glendale.
border. Yeah.
Right. So it's just off the 101. That's going to be November 11th, and I think it's in the afternoon, isn't it?
It's going to be from 4 to 8 is what we're planning right now, but we're in the process of putting all that information together. So I will be having that information on my website, ryanforaz.com or takebackoursenate.com. You can go to both of those. And we'll have all the details. We're just securing the location right now. As soon as we secure the location, we'll definitely.
So ryanforaz.com.
Yeah, spelled out, F-O-R.
F-O-R. And Take Back the Senate.
Take Back Our Senate.
Our Senate.
It's ours. It's the People's Senate.
It is the People's Senate.
It's we the people, not we
Thank
the
you
government.
for saying that. A lot of
Yeah.
people do not understand that you work for us.
That's right.
So, Ryan, a little bit of background from you. You said that you're an NRA instructor. So, it goes to say that you are a strong Second Amendment.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
You had, or you currently have a type of security company.
Well, I owned my own company for 10 years and just recently merged with another company, which I run all their operations, but it's kind of the same, in a sense.
And so you still give instruction?
I do.
For
I train armed guards, unarmed guards. That we do firearm safety classes, refuse to be a victim classes, children's firearm safety classes. Anything the NRA offers, we can offer that as well.
So, Ron, I'm just wondering, Ryan, is there anything you don't do?
Windows.
You don't do
Windows? You mean on the computer or the ones that are made of glass, or both?
Sometimes both.
So you're going to bring your experience from being a small business owner, a trainer, instructor. You're going to bring all these things to the Senate. Now, have you actually had an opportunity to spend some time at the Capitol?
I haven't been to the Capitol, but I'm very good at watching. So usually on my computer screens at work, one screen is on work and one screen is watching the Senate at action, but now they're in recess. So
I thought you'd have one screen on, like, the safe. All right, so you're a family man. How does your wife, how does your family feel about you running for office?
Well, it takes a very special woman. My wife, Lorena, is amazing to be married to anybody that wants to do this, and she's out there pushing me. Very thankful for that. My children and my stepchildren are all supporting me. As a matter of fact, my 6-year-old daughter, every time she gets her hands on my literature, she's like, "Okay, let's go put these on doors." So I love it.
That's cute.
It's great,
and she's learning to be a good citizen at
That's
an
right.
early
She
age.
is.
That's wonderful.
The best thing you can do is raise a child to be a good person, raise them to be a good citizen, because you know what, we have an obligation, being an American. We have an obligation to serve and to support and to understand what our federal government and our state government is all about.
Right.
And like you mentioned with school, they don't teach how to be a good citizen, how to become involved, how to assist. It is self-governance, and you must have an educated populace to be a self-governing society.
When I was in high school, we had my government teacher, Mr. Adams, I remember very well, actually got me interested in what the government really is. He made it fun, and so since then, I've always kind of followed and paid attention to it. We need that back. We need them to actually explain what the government is, how the government actually runs, and not, again, from a certain point of view, how it attacks people or whatnot.
Well, it's not there to rule us. We are to instruct the government on just certain limited areas. I mean, 10th Amendment
right.
is pretty specific, isn't it? It is, Ron. You know that very well.
It says those items that are not specifically dedicated to government belong to the state.
Most of the time when people hear about the 10th Amendment, they think that that's what Moses brought down from Sinai.
Right. Honor thy father and thy mother. It was the first book of laws, though. Or at least the one that survived the longest. Some pretty good stuff in there.
Yeah, I remember in the History of the World Part 1, where Mel Brooks is playing Moses, and he comes down and he says, "People, I give you the 15, whoa," and he drops one. The 10 Commandments.
I remember that movie. That was funny. Tell me now, did you get into civics at all when you were in school? I mean, there's something driving you now that's making you say, I can do this.
Well, what's driving me now is I've always been the guy that likes to argue about the way things are going. And, my wife says, "Well, why don't you do that someplace that they'll hear you?"
That matters.
Because I'm not going to win the argument at home.
Was she saying because I'm not listening?
Right,
Is
pretty
that
much. Yeah. So when I start talking about it, she just does that eye roll with me, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But it's something that I've been really considering for a long time. Especially when I started owning my own business and seeing, the different aspects of people's lives, and it's something that's really driving me now is just to work to make it better for my kids and for everybody in Arizona. And a lot of representatives and senators think about their district only, but I think about it as the whole of Arizona.
Right.
I've got a lot of people to fight for.
And our state, Ray, as you know, is so closely divided, almost 50-50. And the one party that's not the party we belong to seem to be opposed to everything. It never ceases to amaze me that if you're in favor of this, they're opposed to it. Automatically, every one of them. And I think we've lost the spirit of legislation.
Well, you have to be
concept.
smarter then, right? You have to say, look, I'm for spending a lot of money, and they're going to say, no, we don't want to spend any money. Just use reverse psychology. If we know that they just want opposite of what is right to do. It's so great to just have people, just regular citizens, business owners, moms, dads, you first responders, come and want to serve the public. We get to a point where you have somebody that's been in for 40 years or 50 years, and it's the same old thing, and they jump from the House to the Senate, to the Senate to the House, because we do have term limits here in the state of Arizona. You term out after 8 years in the Senate, they jump over to the House, they term out over there, they jump back. So all you're doing is seeing a name, and the name recognition is big.
Big.
It's really big. They don't know if they're in the Senate or if they're in the House or even if they're different. They don't know. So it gives a great disadvantage for somebody like you who's coming in brand new. Now, are you going to an uncontested seat? Are they, where are they in the cycle?
Well, right now for LD21, the seat is actually going to be, or Senator Rick Ray is actually not going to be running again.
So it's going to be an open
seat.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it is fair game. There are 4 people that have put their names in the hat right now, including myself. And I do know that the name recognition is going to be the one thing. But one of the things I like to ask when I go meet people in public is, do you know who your representatives are? And the majority of them are, no.
Yeah. No, you'll find that as you go door to door, as you're campaigning, and you say, has your representative, your senator, ever stopped by your house? Have they ever asked you how you feel? And they're like, I don't know. No, never.
Most of them don't even know the name.
No, not
And
at all.
That's something I plan on changing.
Yeah. So when you're out there, just say, Ron Letters, Ray Michaels, so we get the name recognition too.
Hub Radio.
Sure.
Hub Radio endorsed me.
Hub Radio, all the time.
Wow. Well, we're excited for you. Give us the website one more time.
So there's 2 different websites you can go to. Well, it's the same website, 2 names, RyanForAZ.com and TakeBackOurSenate.com.
Wow. Well, we wish you the very, very best of luck in your campaign. Will you come back again and talk to us when you get a little bit further along? Let us know how things are going.
Anytime you guys want me here, I'll be here.
Yeah?
Yep.
Do we have your
We
personal
have his
cell number?
information. We know how to get a hold of you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
But this is good. I'm glad because it's really important, Ray. As you know, you stepped up at a time when in the district that you were running in that nobody challenged this lady because she had been there.
I ran right into the landmines, just right in.
But you got to do that. You got to challenge. You got to challenge the status quo.
Well,
it's not always good.
It didn't sit right with me that an elected representative said, my life is more important than representing the tens of thousands of people that elected me here. It just didn't sit right with me. Right. And so that's why, but that's, not here nor there. We'll see what happens for the next cycle. But we look forward to it. And then we want to make sure that we go to your website, find out about what's happening on November 11th. It's going to be a big event for you. How's the fundraising going?
So far, we're starting to collect funds. We definitely need a lot of contributions in order for us to keep up with the other side. It's been a challenge, but you can actually, on my website, you can find my donation page as well. You can also sign my petition so that you can get me onto the ballot, which is the first big battle. Once we're on the ballot.
That can be done both electronically and by you or other people carrying your petition.
Do you have that set up electronically?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so if you live in the district, LD21, stop by Ryan's website. It's Ryan, spelled out FOR for AZ, right?
Yep, RyanForAZ.com.
Right.com. So stop by and check it out. And Ron!
The music's playing, Ray.
It is.
And there's more to come. We're almost done, but there's just a few little more things we've got to talk about. So we'll see you on the other side.
Ryan,
do not go away.
Thanks for joining us, Ryan. It's great to have you here.
Thank
Ryan
you so much
Eldridge,
for being here.
LD21.
Appreciate it.
Fake news and leftist commentary have left listeners looking for the truthful news, reasonable analysis, and real-life solutions to America's complex issues. Sound like an impossible task? Well, it's not. There's something new, honesty in reporting, something exciting, something that is cutting edge. Fighting Back is a Hub Radio production that takes a deep dive into the murky world of unbridled state, local, national, and international political intrigue. And of course, Fighting Back also has a softer side. Tune in every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Google Hub Radio Phoenix, click on the link, and then click on Video Live to be inspired by new perspectives on daily issues. Fighting Back, clarifying the confusion of 21st century mayhem.
Hello, Arizona. This is State Senate candidate Anthony Kern, District 20. And when I'm out fighting the woke culture in Arizona, I like to listen to the truth, I like to listen to the real scoop, and therefore I listen to Hub Radio Phoenix, and you should too.
The Culloden Law Group is famous for debt collection, but the attorneys there do a lot more. At Culloden, you're going to find attorneys who have built a solid reputation in the government relations sector, and can provide you with a wide variety of legal options and strategies. Their experience in negotiations and settlements can assure you of their confidence in settling your case. The attorneys at the Culloden Law Group can work autonomously or as a team to take your case where it has to go to get the job done. With a measured approach and high levels of integrity and professionalism, they will work with you to bring about a settlement that's optimal and are here to serve. Call the Culloden Law Group today and put that stress behind you. The Culloden Law Group can be reached at 602-730-8385. That's Culloden Law Group at 602-730-8385. Thank you.
Are you tired of the long lines and impersonal service you get at the post office? Well, we have a solution for you. Pack Mail is an all-in-one mail center conveniently located in the Fry Shopping Center at 3218 East Bell Road, right here in Phoenix. Owned and operated by Arizona residents Mark and Vicky Battaglia, you can be sure of getting personalized professional service. They will pack, crate, freight, and ship your items anywhere in the world. They work with all the major carriers like DHL, UPS, USPS, and Federal Express. Need an address for your home business or startup company? They have P.O. boxes on site where you can receive and pick up your mail anytime, and their knowledgeable and courteous staff will find a way to ship that awkward or heavy item. You can even have your packages picked up and delivered for a small fee. Their motto is, if you can imagine it, we can ship it. Drop in on the good folks at Pack Mail and let them do the work for you. Pack Mail can be reached at 602-971-2300 or email at info@weshipphoenix.com. That's Pack Mail, 602-971-2300 or info@weshipphoenix.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is Ray Michaels for Hub Radio Phoenix and Street Talk, and we have our very special guest. This is Anthony Kern. Anthony, nice to have you here.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for having me.
I'll tell you, we are here in, North, would you call it North Phoenix?
Kind of northwest, yeah.
Yeah, Northwest Phoenix, and there are so many people here to see you.
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily me. Jim Lehman is here. He's a candidate for U.S. Senate, and he's kind of the draw. I'm just the filler.
Oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but this is a power player right here. Anthony was just endorsed, and I'll use that term, endorsed by President Trump. He was mentioned, pointed out when he was here last. Congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. That was unexpected. I had asked a couple people to see if that was possible. And it became possible, and I just give all praise and glory to God, and I just want to say thank you, President Trump, and it really was a shot in the arm for the campaign, and my opponent came out against President Trump after that happened, and he tweeted out some nasty stuff, and I think that the voters should look at that and determine, hopefully I'll get their vote. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you served in the legislature as a representative in this district. Now you're running for Senate.
Yeah, Arizona State Senate, running for against an opponent who, is good on some issues but bad on some more issues, and he has sided with the Democrats a lot of the time. So, I don't want to say his name. I don't want to give him a whole lot of credit, but there are some good things he's done. There's some bad things he's done, but I'm here to just tell you that I'm a constitutional conservative. And I believe in America first. I believe in Arizona first. I believe in the policies that President Trump placed. And, I think it's time that we really, election integrity is important. And I think it's time to take America back.
Well, Anthony, I'll tell you one thing, is you are, like I said, a powerhouse, and you stand on your beliefs and your convictions. And I saw you on the campaign trail this last time, and you are just such an upright person. And LD 24 Legislative District, 20 would be so happy to have you. Yeah. I ran for 24. So 2-0. They would be so blessed to have you represent them in the Senate, and we really need you there.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Ray. My district has wanted me to run against my opponent for the past 6 years. And, I'm honored to serve. I'm honored to be in there. I'm honored to represent, not only the people of my district, but the God that I serve. And, I do stand for integrity and honesty. And I think that's important, and to stand on principle.
Well, my dad used to say that integrity happens when no one's looking. Absolutely. And the person that you are running against would make promises for the party and then not perform. And we don't have to tell the audience who it is, but I think they know. Yeah. And it was instrumental votes too that materially changed the way that we move forward, especially with the audit.
Yeah, and any time one Republican stands with the Democrats in this polarized state that we find ourselves in, they have to question, what they really believe. Like I said, my opponent's been decent on some issues, but very bad on other issues, and those have been key issues. And so it's time for a change. It's time to put in the Arizona State Senate a good constitutional conservative, where the voters and the Republicans out there do not have to worry about which way I'm going to stand, because I'm pretty solid in what I believe.
Yeah, and you are a solid guy. How does everybody get in touch with you? How do they support your campaign?
Thank you, Ray. It's www.votekern.com. We need, we need finances. Can't do without money. We need your prayers. We need your support. And votekern.com. You can get involved, become a volunteer, put a sign in your yard. You don't have to live in the district to help out. Make phone calls. We just appreciate every voter out there. And we're really the state and the nation really needs everybody to rise up and get involved.
Yeah. And you will definitely, this is a statesman right here, a public servant. I think most of our legislators forget that they are serving the public, that they are there for a purpose. And it's not necessarily how they feel on that particular day. What do your constituents want? And I know, and I've seen it time and time again, where you stand behind and you're not afraid to get out there. No. You're not afraid to take a stand. No. And we've seen it over and over. You know who he is, Anthony Kern. Yeah. He's running LD 20 for state senator. Support him. What's that email address one more time, or the website?
Yeah, it's votekern.com, VOTEKERN.com. And I wanted to just say one thing. My dad used to tell me all the time, he'd say, Moses went in a minority. Noah went in the ark a minority, and he came out a majority. So we are the majority. We're on God's side, and I just want to say thank you for your prayers, your support, and God bless America. God bless Arizona.
Amen to that. And thank you so much, Anthony Kern. My name is Ray Michaels on behalf of Hub Radio for Street Talk. Until next time, we'll see you real soon.
Hi, I'm Martha Llamas, and I own a commercial cleaning company. Now that many people will be getting back to work, let's get your facility ready for them with our total disinfecting, wipe down, and fogging procedures. Our two-step process will help you ensure that your offices are safe. Call me today for a free estimate, and together we can help protect your employees. Thank you, and let's continue to stay safe.
You're watching Backstreet Gossip, news talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Ron Letters. Now, let's return to the show.
Well, once again, happy Labor Day.
Yeah, the show's gone very quick tonight.
It's gone very quick, and we're running out of
great
time.
Guests.
But we wanted to get down to our good friend, Mike Considine, down in Tucson. We had him on, Ray, as you might remember, a week or so ago.
I do remember. Who do I look like, Joe Biden?
I don't remember. At any rate, the police and that, and they've had a few changes in the way they're going to do things. Welcome to the show, Mike. Mike,
are you there?
Mike should be there.
Are you there, Mike? Hello, Mike.
We hear him moving around.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Sorry about that. We tried to check this before I come in. Sorry about the delay. I know we're running out of time. Yeah, doing good. Want to make this brief. I know we're running out of time. Basically, on September 13th, 5 p.m., Sheriff Mack is going to be leading a civil rights style Liberty March from Viente Augusto Park in downtown Tucson to City Hall. And that's going to be in support of our 230 police officers who are under duress and being coerced to take this mandated shot by the Tucson City Council and the Marxist Mayor Regina Romero.
We talked a little earlier on the show about there are mandates, there are orders, and there are laws. And there's only one of those things, Ray, that really meet the definition of what is made in the Constitution, and that is laws. The only ones that can make laws are the legislature of Arizona. The others can try as they will, but they can't take over the basic tenets of what the state of Arizona says is the laws. And it's been troubling, Mike, when you talk about mandates and orders. I don't know where these people get off that they can just make a mandate and everybody's got to, and they have.
Well, Ron, remember about a year ago in 2020 when we had that Chaz, that autonomous zone in downtown Seattle? Remember that?
Right. I do. Yeah, the city of Chaz.
Yeah. And now imagine that fiasco, that little autonomous zone. And then imagine the Trump Justice Department okaying it, saying that this is an autonomous zone separate from the jurisdiction of the state of Washington. The Justice Department of the Trump administration is acknowledging this little autonomous zone. Well, that's what we have down here in Tucson. The governor has made an executive order saying there should be no mandates, and there's been state legislature laws this year that have bolstered the people's right to not take these shots on personal liberty. And the Attorney General has laid down guidelines just last month on people's rights not to take the shot. But still, the Tucson City Council and Mayor Regina Romero have come out and made these mandates unilaterally against Arizona law and against the governor and the Attorney General. But it's the Biden Justice Department that is backing her up to do it. And this is the same Biden administration that is standing down in Afghanistan, ruining the morale of our soldiers. They're coming into Tucson, and they're making our police stand down, ruining the morale here. It's a unilateral stand down of law and order through our international military endeavors and our internal domestic and municipality police community as well. And it's a disgrace.
It is.
I am so proud of you, Mike. We had only about 5 minutes, and we only have less than 1 minute, and you got it all in. He speaks as fast as a senator.
So tell us, Wendy Rogers. So tell us, Mike, when is this happening? Where's it going to be? Give it to us one more time.
Well, if you go to www.cspoa.org, that's www.cspoa.org. That's Sheriff Mack's website, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. But it's going to be Monday, September 13th, 5 p.m., Viente Augusto Park. We're going to march from there down to City Hall, and we're going to have Sheriff Lamb. We might even have Mark Fincham. He says he might make it. We're going to have a few other surprise guest speakers there. A gubernatorial candidate, Matt Salmon, is going to be there speaking. And we got a few other invites out, and we hope everyone can make it down. This is real important, but we'll just appreciate any support we can get.
Yeah, you know what? Keep us posted on this, because Ron, on the show coming up on Wednesday, we can make another mention.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we get this information. And there was a little change from last week. We ran a little over. Man, we had a dynamite show tonight. I'm really excited that it was so powerful tonight. Listen, we have a show on Wednesday. Today hardly seems like a Monday because everything's closed. But
it's like you always want to get in a fight on Wednesday.
I do, yeah. And that's because we call the show
Fighting Back.
Okay. So for Ray Michaels and Ron Letters and Mr. DeSante, we hope you had a very good Labor Day. And we'll see you again Wednesday night on Fighting Back, 7 o'clock.
And God bless Arizona, and God bless America.
Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb here. With the increase in private businesses and even government organizations talking about mandating the vaccine, I wanted to let you know that here at the Pinal County Sheriff's Office, we do not mandate the vaccine, and as long as I'm your sheriff, we will never mandate the vaccine. We believe that your health choices are yours and yours alone, so whether you get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine, that's your private information. Here, we believe in America and freedom, and we're going to continue on with that. God bless.
Radio Phoenix is an internet-based podcast platform providing numerous special interest programs, reaching over 100,000 viewers per week. Hi, I'm Ron Lutters, executive producer of Hub Radio Phoenix. We don't pretend to be journalists, but we're not afraid to say what's on our minds. We thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to Hub Radio Phoenix. Stay tuned, stay faithful, as the best is yet to come.